Welcome to RVing in New England, the nation's only forum that puts you on stage with some of the biggest names in the RV industry. And now your hosts, John DePietro and Bob Zagami.
Oops. What did I do? Okay. Well, the music's still on.
Yeah, what you doing there?
I just thought I'd throw that out there in the middle in case people were falling asleep. Somehow I feel tired today, and it's only Wednesday. Got 2 more days for the week, so.
And you're there in a tropical paradise, and I'm here with not one, but two fleeces on, freezing. I've got the heater on for the room, and then another desk heater right next to me.
You don't think I'm feeling sorry for you, do you?
Well, some people might.
Yeah, but this isn't one of those people.
You know who would feel sorry for me? Is all the people, because one of the things I want to talk about is that the show season is pretty much over.
Yep.
And now everybody who bought their new RV or first RV is hoping that, oh, you know what? In New England, the first weekend in April, you can hit the trail. Okay, we hit the trail to Maine last week.
You can certainly get it ready or get out and clean it, but it's not even good enough for you to go out and clean and wash it down.
It is. I went to the mailbox today and saw ice, a puddle of ice. There's such a thing, a puddle of ice. But anyway, that was crazy.
So welcome everybody to our show tonight. We thought we'd do something different tonight in terms of all the turmoil and the stuff around us. And then actually it was prompted by, I don't know if some of you will remember that we had Ron and Rose Seidel on a couple of years ago. And I used to work with Ron in the document imaging business, and he's retired. And they have this big Jayco fifth wheel, and they go up and down the East Coast. They come down to Florida a lot. And he's pretty smart when it comes to politics and business. And he posted this this week. And this is what got me going. He says, with the world seemingly in turmoil, we figured it'd be best to go camping. So they are back out camping, they got a nice site there, back right in there to a river site. And that is at a camp on a lake.
Ackworth, Georgia.
Altoona, Georgia. Yeah, he lives outside the Atlanta area. Okay. So that's what kind of prompted my thought process to say, maybe let's check out the pulse.
We could back up to that lake and skim rocks across it because there would be a coat of ice on it. And last week, well, actually 2 days, yesterday, right here in Worcester, it was snowing that I couldn't see the place across the street from me. Hard for about 10 minutes. Then the sun came out and then the temperature dipped. And last night when I got home, it was 30 degrees with a wind chill of 19.
Yeah.
So that has not made me want to call my friend Ryan Hadley up yet and say, Ryan, let's get rolling here.
Yeah. So, hey, there was a piece of bad news coming out of Boston today. I don't know if you saw it, but you're so well connected to the broadcast industry. Mary Richardson died this morning.
Yeah, a couple of days ago.
A couple of days ago? Okay. Yeah. I saw a post on it today. Man, we grew up watching her on Channel 5. She was 76, but she was.
Yeah.
Didn't she do Chronicle for a while too?
Yeah, she did Chronicle. I was going to say Evening Magazine, but it was Chronicle.
Yeah.
Chronicle. Yeah. And with Peter Mahegan.
Right. Who drove that old Chevy forever and ever all around.
Bernie saw me yawning. As soon as Bob said he was tired, I caught the bug and you try to go like this so people don't see the.
Yeah. Let's see who else is in the lobby here.
Jim Roy is here.
Uncle Bernie. Well, I was in the lobby. But
Bernie. Oh yeah, hey.
Bernie, get out of the swamp, Bernie.
I like my swamp. It's
The one
covered
time
in-
he uses a fake background, it looks like he's drowning in the swamp.
Bernie, don't you have an aerial shot of Merrimack or something?
Oh, that's Nashua. That's Nashua. Yeah, it's on.
Oh, it's an Astra?
It's in that nice walking area
that-
anyway. Yeah, Mines Falls. Yeah, it's
Bernie,
in
what
that Mines Falls complex.
Is that the water treatment plant right behind you?
No, that's actually downtown way back there. That chimney is from, the Clock Tower condominiums, which used to be a big mill building right downtown on
Oh.
Factory Street.
Hey, Frank Palange, welcome. But doesn't that look like Bondi's Island behind Bernie? Frank, that's a little Western Mass joke. Frank will know what Bondi's Island is. So, anyway, Bernie, I was just
looking forward to another great show with Bob and John. Yes, sir. And Jim Roy. Good evening. Well, actually, it's pretty early this month tonight.
Yeah.
Jim.
Yeah.
Now, I think I did talk to him or communicated with him early in the week. I think he said the snow is all gone.
Well, maybe not.
Driveway.
Well, let me tell you, where we were in Lewiston, Auburn, in the Walmart parking lot and all the places, we weren't camping, Bernie. We were not camping.
Yeah.
There were still piles.
You got to see Don Pat Hawes' comment.
I'll get down to him here.
Oh,
Let me go. Dante's here. Bernie's here. No. That was what you're talking about. Hello, guys. Sorry we got late tonight. Well,
No, I can't.
actually for you, John, you're always late, but you're early late tonight.
Right, he's early late tonight. I didn't realize Bernie was in D.C. in the swamp. Yep, he is. He is. Bob, before we go any further, Bernie has a new announcement to make to us. We may have already made it, but let's let Bernie say it in his own words.
Are you sure? Okay. Well, I know we've done this on the Camper Report show already.
We're not sure, but Bernie, we're not sure, but I have to yawn again, so go ahead.
So it's really interesting because it was this morning, I believe, that I actually made the official announcement on LinkedIn that I am now the brand ambassador for Campers in RV. So very excited. And yes, I'll lose that hat. I promise you I will. I'll take a new picture. Yeah.
Take a new picture. Yeah. You'll need to take a new picture.
So what does that entail?
Oh, what does that entail? Well, that's a good question. I'm still kind of figuring this out, but
that should be interesting, Bernie.
Yeah.
Figure it out.
Yeah, the way I look at it is that I'm here to, spread the good word of Campers In. I'm going to be communicating with manufacturers, with component suppliers, with event coordinators, and doing a lot of product videos, which I already love to do very much. So that's going to be a real easy part of the program. But with all that being said, I'm just going to keep busy, representing Campers In RV.
Do you get to pick and choose where you want to go and what you want to do and who you want to call?
Initially that was a big part of it where, they didn't know what to do with me at first, but now they're starting to figure it out. And
we don't know what to do with you either.
They were going to fire you, but they figured, well, you know what? Age discrimination. We can't fire them, so we got to get them the hell off the sales floor, and let's just throw them in the back with a camera.
Yeah, I'm less likely to get hurt doing this job, I guess.
Yeah, exactly.
So do you also then travel all around to the?
Yeah, I'll be traveling a lot. I'm actually going to be going to Nashville in a couple of weeks.
You are.
Tiffin's going to be doing the big 2026 reveal, and I can't wait to be a part of that. That's going to be an excellent, event. And we're going to be at the Gaylord Hotel right in the new Grand Ole Opry. And we'll be spending the weekend there.
Wait a minute. I might want to drive up. Is this the dealer meeting? This is not consumers?
It's dealer representatives only, and they only allow 2 from each dealer body. So I happen to be one of 2. One of them is going to be a camera person that's going to be helping me out. And they've given us time to take videos of all the product, interview some of the people there, learn, have these classes on the new specifications and new features in the product lines. I can't wait. Really, it's going to be exciting.
I think
What are the
I
dates?
can make Nashville in 12 hours.
Yeah. I mean, we can always meet for dinner if they don't let you in to see the campers. But, who's going to stop you?
Do you have a wait a minute, Bernie? Do you? I just got the tail end of that one. No, you're right, Bernie. Nobody's going to stop me
And no one's going to stop you.
Go
I
up
mean,
in
it just doesn't
Nashville.
happen.
If I
Stopping
show up
Bob
in
is like
Nashville,
trying to
I
stop
get
a
in.
freight train with a
But
pea
I
shooter.
want to know now, relative to dinner, is your expense account in this new job big enough to cover my dinner in my Jack Daniels?
Not
No,
the Jack
but I've
Daniels.
known you long enough that I don't mind covering it once in a while either. So we're going to be arriving on Thursday and
Or you
leaving
haven't
on
seen him drink.
Saturday. Yeah.
You haven't seen him drink, and he buys
I have
double
seen him
shots.
drink.
He
Yep.
buys those double shots.
Yeah, he sure does.
In
It's all
fact,
good though.
there's
At least he's not doing it with something more expensive. So
What do you mean? The Jack is normal, but then if I get the Gentleman Jack, and then when I go to Las Vegas, if I get single barrel, it's $40 a shot.
that's still cheap when it comes to if you're going to be doing something like Pappy Van Winkle 25-year-old, then I'd be like sweating it a little bit. At
How can you
$250 a shot.
How can you mention somebody like Pappy Van Winkle in the same sentence as Jack Daniels?
There might be cousins, Bob. They might be cousins.
No,
They're
impossible.
all related. All those whiskey people are all related.
My buddy Jack is legendary. What are you talking about?
Yeah. Oh no. Well, I know everybody in Kentucky's related.
You see where I
when it
left
comes to
off
whiskey.
here? Don didn't realize.
Oh yeah. Wait a minute.
Wait, Bernie's not in D.C. What the hell are you
No,
talking?
he's making because I'm in the
Where
swamp.
are you?
In the swamp? Oh, the swamp. Oh, very good. Don's pretty sharp. He's
Yeah,
not
that was a good one.
He's not tired today. That was very good. Jim, wait. You came up to Lewiston and didn't come to see me?
Jim, what town are you in?
Monmouth.
Monmouth, right?
Monmouth.
Isn't he way up
It's a
there?
good area. Yeah, it's close by there.
Oh. Well, you know what? It was a last minute trip. We were going to take the motorhome. And then when I saw the thermometer in the forecast, I said, you know what? Let's not. And actually, as it turned out, we went to the show, then came back and stopped in Nashua, Bernie, at that new casino called the Nash.
Oh yeah, I was in there the other day.
Over at Pheasant Run Mall.
Yep.
So
Yeah.
John, you must be tired because you're not as sharp as you should be. Because when Jim said you went to Lewiston and didn't come see me, you should have said, Jim, I thought you'd be exhibiting at the Vacationland RV and Camping Show, and I thought I'd see you there.
Yeah, that's right. But I didn't know where the heck Monmouth, Maine was.
Even see how
A little
delayed
late.
that was for Bernie.
Yeah.
Even something as simple as that, how delayed it was before his brain kicked in and said, I think I'm supposed to answer that question.
I don't think he drinks enough, to be honest with you.
No, he drinks too much water.
Yeah. Now, there's a DePietro here. I can't tell whether it's my nephew or my brother. I think it's my nephew.
Why don't you tell them to change their stuff so we know? Because we give your brother more crap than we do your nephew. No, look at his picture. Of course it's your nephew.
Yeah, I know, but you never know with pictures. Everybody posts
That
something
part of
else.
Kentucky is probably a fun RV trip as long as you're parked. As long as you're parked after
Taste. Now,
when did we get on Kentucky?
Jack Daniels.
Because I brought up the whiskey, the Pappy Van Winkle. That's Kentucky.
Oh, that's Kentucky. Well, no,
Yeah.
no, Jack is in Lynchburg, Tennessee. There was some serious flooding
It's like some Clint. Oh yeah,
serious flooding in Kentucky. In fact, I had to check on the Jack Daniels distillery today, and there was no damage. There was no flooding, so Jack is still okay.
So the grotto is not underwater. Okay.
The grotto.
15 minutes from Lewiston. See
the cathedral.
So
that picture. That other post has got to be my brother because my brother would just say, hi, I'm here.
Right.
And expect everybody to fall over the fact that he's here.
Yeah. And then you go back to sleep.
Right. Exactly. Oh, there's Ryan. Ryan, let me ask you, Ryan, is your dewinterization business slowed down or on hold now? Because I know I was telling Bob prior to hitting the record button, I said, I haven't even called Ryan yet. It's too cold. Too cold to wear your Ryan Priest t-shirt that I've got for you either. But
did you see that? Did you see that post? Did I send it to you? I know I sent it to Ryan, but Priest was selling his own T-shirts at his souvenir trailer at the track last weekend. So he came up and bought it, and he was autographing it for people. And
somebody else was doing that same thing. I forget who it was. I saw that. That must be the new thing now. They want to sell more product, and I forget who it was. It was another driver.
They make a lot of money on that. Yeah. Make a lot of money.
It was another driver.
Well, did Ryan answer?
Not yet. Not yet. So Ryan,
do you think that people? Well, I guess we know they're delaying because they get afraid of the icing, or are they brave enough that they're dewinterizing and going to take the chances anyway? Which way do you see that going? How about from the dealership standpoint? You probably don't do as much dewinterization as you do winterization, but is there any talk at the dealership in terms of people aren't coming in yet, or we're stacked up with people and customers?
Well, it's not so much about dewinterization, but what I've seen, there's a lot of people coming in that being good campers and they're testing their RVs a little bit early. But I have to say, you got to be careful because we had a 20-degree night last night. And so if you are checking your water systems, you're going to make sure at the very least, that you open up all your low point drains and your water heater so you don't have any issues, because it's cold.
So you were 20 degrees last night?
20 degrees last night. And I was grilling on the porch, and there was a wind chill. It must have been 10 degrees or less, the wind chill factor.
Right. Because there was a Worcester Red Sox game scheduled last night that they called off at 1 in the afternoon because they said temperature to be in the 20s with a wind chill of 11.
Wow.
Right. There you go. It was brisk.
And that was in Worcester. And I was out last night till about 8 o'clock. And it was cold coming in. It was cold. And you know what? It's that winter feeling. So Ryan says he's done a few within the last few weeks, and tomorrow I have one. Ryan, let me ask you this. If you take the fluid out, but don't fill it with water, are you safe? That's the question.
I'm going to chime in here. I would say in most cases you are, because to properly winterize, you're going to be flushing out all the water out of the system anyway and replacing it with antifreeze. So part of the process of doing that, of pumping in that antifreeze, is to get the water out. So hopefully, I can't see that there'd be much water left in it if you winterized it properly, and if you just drained your low point drains.
Okay, there you go.
Well,
Chuck pops in here.
Hi, Chuck. Chuck Lundberg, talk about a stranger disappearing. Chuck Lundberg, great to see you, buddy. Last night's Red Sox game at Fenway was the third coldest on record. Wow, 28 degrees.
And Neil Diamond showed up.
Chuck, are you still doing your Talk Camping New Hampshire gig, or is that gone by the wayside? I know you used to have that, and maybe he's busy with his car wash businesses there. But good to see you, buddy.
Well, Ryan says he left a bottle of water out last night, and it didn't freeze. But again, today, going to the mailbox, there was
little puddle that turned to ice.
Frozen puddle. Yep. So Ryan, I asked Ryan a question about. Oh no, sir, all done. He's all done.
All done with Talk Camping New Hampshire. Yeah, I haven't seen anything on it.
No way to get the antifreeze out without flushing the water. That's interesting.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, that's just what Bernie said. Yeah.
I thought it's the opposite of what Bernie said.
No, it's the same thing that what I said.
You have to add water to it to get the antifreeze out.
No way to get the antifreeze out. To get all the antifreeze out, you do have to flush it with water, yeah.
Well, but if somebody shuts off the valve on their hot water tank, they could flush it and forget the hot water tank, maybe? Wouldn't they?
Yeah, no, I don't think that's a good idea. So,
Well,
yeah,
I'm not
unless you're
suggesting.
just
Is
dropping your
is
antifreeze
is
from
it
low point
possible?
drain.
No, but
Yeah.
I was looking at it from a technical standpoint because I'm such a technical genius. I was wondering if they could do that either accidentally or some other way, because you got a shut-off valve for the water heater, right?
The new ones don't really have a bypass anymore. The tankless water
bypass.
heaters don't. But yeah.
Okay.
Ryan said yes, but what was the question you said yes to, Ryan? We're putting Ryan to work.
Yeah, so if you're only dropping your low point drains and letting the antifreeze out, you're still probably going to be okay. But if you are using water to flush it out and you're doing a full dewinterization, yeah, he's right. There's going to be water in there.
Yeah.
Yeah. And Mr. Butler has his coach out of storage, but afraid to test the water. You mean you're afraid, Mr. Butler, afraid to put water in to test to see if it'll go through, or you're not?
Upstate New York, I wouldn't be putting water in my coach.
And he's afraid to see if it's going to freeze up on him or not.
Right. The question is, did he have it stored indoors all winter where freezing wasn't a case, wasn't an issue?
Yeah, he's in upstate New York, I think.
Yeah, they're getting lake effect snow up there this week.
Charles, you're up in, he's either in Elkhart or upstate New York, but I think he's in upstate New York. Yeah,
upstate New York. Right.
So
Charles, tell us exactly where you are. If you're north of Saratoga, are you way up that way, or are you just in Albany?
I think he's over by Buffalo and Rochester.
Well,
upstate New York. When they say upstate New York, it's usually up at that Saratoga area above that.
Buttered cabbage.
Well, just finished pork chops. This guy eats well. Have you ever
Nice.
he comes in, the first thing he talks about every week is his menu. You left off your craft beer that accompanied your finished pork chops, Mr. Christensen.
Yeah, he sounds like an IPA kind of guy.
But let me ask Tim.
He does drink a lot of IPA, but he's got a good, local breweries up there.
Let me tell Tim that we mentioned his name today on our other show, or was that yesterday?
No, it was
the new camp.
This morning.
That
on
was
the Camp Report show. We talked about New Camp's 20th anniversary, and we put a plug in there for good old Tim.
Sagami, that was yesterday.
What? Yesterday we did that?
Yeah.
Oh, you're right. I had Patrice and Kevin today. Yeah, you're right.
Right. Oh, he's Lake Ontario, north of Syracuse. He must be up by Watertown.
That's way upstate.
That's way up. And they do get cold, and they do get a lot of snow. I remember when I had my office, I had an office in Syracuse, and we had customers in Watertown, and I sent my service guys up there one day, and they said, "We're not going to go up there." I said, "What do you mean you're not going to go up there?" He says, "There's 12 feet of snow on the ground." And he sent me back. He did eventually go to the customer, but he sent me back one of those pictures where you see the snow on both sides of the road, like 12 feet high. You can barely get one car through it on some side road. So I don't know if that still holds true up there, but they get some big ones.
Tim has his premium beer tonight. Heady Topper tonight. Vermont premium beer. Must be a craft beer brewed in Vermont.
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
Heady Topper, Vermont premium beer.
Yep.
Now, Tim, here's a question for you. And if you know the answer, you can no longer come on the show. What kind of beer does Bernie Sanders drink? Now, you notice that Bernie and AOC are traversing the hottest duo in the Democratic Party.
Yeah, they're like Ike and Tina Turner.
Yeah. And they see some guy caught her though. She was flying first class out to Nevada for one of Bernie's things. So this protector of freedom and free speech and what have you flies first class.
Oh yeah.
Tim said, "Oh, you do not sell New Camp products. Intech. Oh, my mistake. Sorry, Tim. You're right. Some reason I always want to associate you with. I will correct that post. You're right.
Only the pricey stuff. Yeah.
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 You might get a call from New Camp saying they're sending a bunch more over.
Yeah. Yeah. Either that.
Fine for them as long as you don't get an invoice, Tim. You can sell them before anybody even comes to collect them.
Or Jesse Mullet, the president, will say, "Hey, Zagami, Tim doesn't sell my product. Somebody else does." I don't even. If it's not Tim, man, I just relate that to Tim. Jim Conboy.
Jim Conboy. Jim, man. Was that? I saw a roof company, same as yours, up in Lewiston, Maine. Was that you, or was that another distributor up there at the Maine show this past weekend? Oh yeah. That the thing that Hawes is talking about, Boothbay, Maine. It's the Boothbay Brewery. It has a Harvest Host.
That's a Harvest Host, right?
Yep. Yeah. It also has, I think, 5 or 6 park spots that are full hookups.
Sounds like pure heaven to me. Oh, yep. It's a great spot. And it's right down the street from that campground that Jim goes to all the time. I can't remember, but he'll tell us.
Yeah, Jim Roy. Shore Hills.
Vintage rallies.
Shore Hills.
Yeah. Hey, Jim Conboy, did Kurt actually retire? Did you see that any of those posts? You guys see any Kurt Ennis posts that he retired? I don't know if he did it on April 1st, but I was wondering if he's actually retired and left the business. All right, Tim says, "Guess I'm banned. Never had a beer with Bernie Culleton."
Yeah, I'm not Bernie Sanders. Right. And I don't drink Bud Light. So
he doesn't associate with Bernie Sanders.
Oh, you didn't bring up that. You didn't give us the answer to that question.
No, he didn't. Not yet. Charlie says, "This year we held true on snow. Many buildings collapsed. Always store coach indoors winterized." That's interesting.
Just in case you lose power.
Retired as of March 28th. Well,
oh, wow.
Good luck. Okay. Good luck to that young man. And he can relax now. And certainly was, outside of Jim, probably the hardest working guy down at New England RV Roof. That both of them did just do a fantastic job building that business. At Maine, this was my son. Oh, it was his son covering for him.
Yeah. I didn't recognize him. I don't think I'd seen him before.
Oh, okay.
The booth was busy, so I didn't want to bother him.
That was June. And Tim says, "Guess I'm banned. Never had a beer with Bernie." There was something else that Tim posted here. There we go. He did the one on Booth Bay. Do that. Bernie was supposed to be talking about the pulse of New England.
Okay. I was wondering if we're going to get to that.
Yeah. We're only half hour into the show.
Yeah. I don't want corporate secrets or anything, but how do you think traffic is, or as you go around and talk to some of the other dealers and stuff, how is the consumer traffic now that the shows are behind them? Are they now coming out to buy all those nice RVs that they saw at the shows?
So I'm just going to back up a little bit, because as of about like 2000 and the early 22, believe it or not, the RV market started to decline. It was on an all-time high, mind you, and 22 was still a tremendous year, no doubt about it. But, so things had been on the decline for a while, and then right through 24, the show was very good. We had a very good show. And what I find now is that when the weather is decent, which we've had a lot of rainy weekends lately up here in New England, but when we don't have a rainy weekend, we get slammed. And even in the rain, we're still doing good, solid, moderate business on rainy weekends too. So I have a feeling once we get a little bit of a stretch of good weather, the spring fever is definitely in full effect. People are ready and waiting. They've behaved now for a couple of years. They've backed off. They've been, kind of pinching pennies a little bit, but now they're ready to rock and roll.
Right. But Bernie, you can't use that reasoning all over the Campers Inn family because our friend Larry Peter said you can't shovel sunshine in Florida. So up north, we can kind of hide behind the weather with low numbers, but eventually when things even out. And Larry, I was surprised I didn't see Larry. I thought I'd see him as a face in the crowd at Darlington this past weekend, but I think Larry was Final
No,
Four.
He was busy. He brought his daughter to the
He took his
UConn
daughter
game.
to the NCAA Women's Championship or semifinals. Yeah.
Oh, the finals.
Yeah, and I did check with him today because the circuit is going to Bristol this weekend, and when it's Bristol, baby, it's a packed house, and they got all three races, but there's no Campers Inn logos this weekend in Bristol, so he's probably not going up on that. Let me get back to business here.
Well, no, wait. This is business. Larry
Well,
went
I'm glad Larry's here because he can kind of fill in for me as for the South.
Is he here?
Yeah, but in general, the reports that Larry Peters here. Yeah.
He is.
Yep.
Yeah.
How did I miss him?
Bob, let me introduce you to Larry. He works at Campers Inn. He's kind of like their.
I'm glad you'd introduce me to him because I don't have the slightest idea who the
NASCAR.
guy
Larry,
is.
Did you go to the Sunday game, the championship game? And
I think he went to the semifinal.
No, he went to the
Sunday?
final.
Oh no, Sunday was for the women. Yeah.
We are going to Bristol. Mobile service. Yeah. The Campers Inn RV medic crew. What a tremendous crew they are.
Yeah, they when they had the colors on, I think it was I'm pretty sure it was the Xfinity car. Larry can correct me, but they had RV medics right on the rear quarter panels on those cars, and that's getting a lot of attention. Of course, that's done. They got a set number of tracks they're doing, but it isn't dependent on a car or truck having the logos that particular weekend. They've got a set number of tracks, and they advertise people to call them up, and no championship game was electric. Yeah.
Yeah, but he wasn't at that game, the Sunday game.
Oh, okay.
You know what? Because I was switching between the NASCAR race and the women's game. And I will tell you that this is the first year that I've watched a women's NCAA championship game. And I found that their game and the women's tournament this year was more exciting than the men's tournament this year.
Right.
Yeah, they had to wait till then. You know what's really interesting and it's going to be exciting to watch? Can you imagine those seniors playing in those games this week and knowing that they're going to get probably 3 or 4 times the money that graduates would have gotten last year in the WNBA? I mean, I'll tell you, I've watched so many Caitlin Clark videos. She's Willie Mays and Michael Jordan and Wayne Gretzky rolled into one. She is absolutely amazing, and her star power. I don't know what she's up to on endorsements, but imagine being a female graduating from college and basketball was your major. Can you imagine the money that those girls are going to take this year? Very much long overdue.
And it will be more next year because this is the last year of the current NBA players agreement that they only get a certain amount of money as a
when they come in
player.
this first draft, there's a set schedule on
Right.
salaries.
However,
the
the money they'll make on the side will far surpass what they make as their salary.
Yeah.
In fact, if you watch,
I put that up because I was wondering what people think about. Are we going to be hurt like in Old Orchard Beach in Maine?
You absolutely. I talked to the people at Old Orchard Beach Campground and several others. They're absolutely, and I talked to Kathy Dyer from the Maine Campground Owners Association. They're absolutely seeing a dip in Canadians reserve this year. And when you look, Bob, you lived in Old Orchard Beach.
Yeah.
The license plates, there were more license plates from Quebec than there were from Massachusetts.
Yep, and the menus were in English and French.
And
I mean, I think Old Orchard could be hit really hard this year, along with other areas. But the Canadians love Old Orchard Beach. Now, the other side of that, does that free up a lot more campsites for Americans that wanted to go up there, but they were sold out early? Maybe their favorite campground has some seasonals that are available. Maybe they've got some openings throughout the year, and maybe will we see less Canadians but see more Americans?
No, who knows?
Yep.
Larry has some very good points here. Larry did go to the championship game.
Where are you?
He 736. But Larry said that shows around the country average 12 to 18% down in attendance. Okay. Now, we've always said here, Bob, attendance is not necessarily the main indicator of the show.
No.
Because the Springfield show would generate more bodies than the Boston.
More people go to the Springfield show, right?
But the Boston show, because it costs so much to go to it and pay to park and pay to get in and go out to eat afterwards, there tended to be, well, number one, factually, it was a much more qualified financially buyer. Okay. And you'd also tend to see the more serious buyers there when they realized they had to drop 30 or 40 bucks before they even walked in the building, and then pay 12 bucks a Budweiser. So,
no, you're absolutely right. And we put on our A game there for sure. We're ready for action, and I know our friends at Pete's RV are the same way. They're ready for showtime, and we prepare for it properly. Make sure we have the right products there, we have the right reps there, and we're there to work deals. So they tend to be pretty good. I mean, our Boston show was only 2 off from the previous year, which was a really good show for us. So
that's incredible. Yeah.
Incredible. 2 units off. But Larry was brought up another good point, though. It's like there was a lot of cold and icy weather down in the South during that first quarter, which is kind of not normal for them. And that really messes them up. For us, like a little bit of snow and ice, it's like, brush it off and go, so it's a different attitude altogether.
Yeah. Now, Ryan says Canadian tuxedos. I think Ryan, also known as Speedos.
Speedos, right. Yeah, you spelt it wrong, Ryan. It's SPEEDO.
Right, and in Old Orchard Beach in particular.
In Old Orchard Beach. They're all and they're right out there at the pizza joints and Pierre Fries and
Now Dante says there were many sites open this year, but
so the Canadian guys show as much skin as the Canadian women, where the American guys do not show as much skin as the American women.
Which is good.
John, you're supposed to say, what a profound statement, Sagami.
Well, I was just ignoring it because it was so profound.
God.
Because I'm sticking to the topic. Dante says there were many sites open this year. Okay, now I'm thinking that the Canadian, and I think he's alluding to the fact that maybe the Canadians.
Maybe he's talking about Daytona. I don't know.
Well, would I
shut up and let you talk?
Let me talk.
Okay.
Dante said that there were many sites open this year. Now, the question is, were they Canadians who didn't come? I'm thinking no, because the Canadians, because Trump wasn't, the election wasn't until November, and Trump didn't get in until the 20th, and he didn't get, he didn't start rattling the feathers of the Canadians until after he got in. So,
but they're canceling. It doesn't make a difference. They're canceling a ton of reservations.
No, I don't mean now. I'm talking about what happened in Florida in December, where Dante was talking right there. See where it says many?
Yeah, but is Dante talking about Florida?
Let's ask Dante.
All right. At any rate, what I'm thinking is there's a good spin here.
Larry's feeling his oats tonight.
Oh yeah, he's getting on your case, Bob.
No. Oh, that was Tony. I hit the wrong one. I'll get back to you, I said, this one, Larry's feeling his oats.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's all right, Larry.
Yeah.
I put the face with the picture. Where's Barthel? He was here.
Howdy all. Late.
Yeah, you are. Was that 15 minutes for each one of those lates, which would make 45 minutes late to the show, Tony? My God, that's.
But Ryan,
I don't think you got any kind of a good excuse that would justify that.
I don't know if is Tony still out in the Midwest or are you back out to the West, Tony? Because I know you were
maybe he's home. I don't know.
Way back out to California or Arizona or whatever it is.
Maybe he's home.
No, Ryan's cool.
No.
We thought he meant Speedos.
Cut off flannels and cut off jean shorts. My sons get their first sights of Speedos when they were about 8. Well,
yeah.
So I want to bring up a good opportunity for RVers around here. I think we're missing this, right?
What is it, Bernie? I can't wait. Tell me.
I know. For the last several years, we've been hearing.
We got the drum roll. We have a drum roll.
Anyway, for the last several years, clients have been saying, I hear there's no sites in Maine. There's no place to go in Maine. I want to go to camp in Maine. There's no places available in Maine. But now we got to get the word out that there are sites available and let people know that, yes, it's open for business. So get your RV, go to Maine, and go camping. So,
hey John, you saw Billy McNamara from Loon's Haven Family Campground. What was her take on this mess?
I did. She said there's still room.
There you go.
Available. Remember, 22 and 23, by this time, by mid-April, everything was sold out for the summer.
Well, we're going to have to do a Maine night and bring on some of our Maine campground friends to promote the business up there. We don't want them hurting.
That's right. Yeah.
Then if
there's plenty of places to go camping.
Yeah, but if they don't go to the campgrounds, then they don't go to the restaurants, and then they don't rent the charter fishing boat. It's got.
Okay. Let's bring up a very important point here.
What?
And it's got more to do with camping than selling RVs. But the reality is that the campground industry does an absolutely terrible job of letting people know the economic impact that they have on a marketplace. What do you mean by that, DePietro? Very simple. There are people that know nothing about camping that think that a family drives into a campground, hooks up on Friday afternoon, and doesn't leave until Sunday night. Okay, here's the reality. Once they hook up, if they're with a motorized product, then they go out to the supermarket, or then they go out to the restaurant, or then they go out to the local attractions, or they go to the gas station. They drop hundreds of dollars per unit into the local economy. And I think that the industry needs a slap on the wrist for not thinking that the general public, not making the general public aware of how good campgrounds bring money in, not only to their own campground, but to the surrounding businesses and tourist attractions.
I'm going to take the opposing view.
Okay, go ahead.
Right?
You'll be wrong, but you're welcome to do so.
The industry does provide that data, but they don't promote the fact that they have that data. If you go to RVs Move America,
right,
there is an economic study on every state in the country. And Bernie, I'm surprised. Do your salespeople use that at all? Do you use those numbers at all? Because you can go in by state. Now, I think some of it's outdated. And we got the Industry Week coming up in June in Washington, D.C. But if you go to RVs Move America, you see the whole country economic impact. You see the number of jobs. Now, it's empirical data. Nobody's gone down there and done real serious stuff, but it's better than nothing. But we can, sometimes I've done it with our deal, is where I'll catalog all 6 New England states and send them those pages and say, look at this. This is stuff that you should be promoting. I mean, if I owned a dealership, I'd have up to 24.
We have chats about this kind of stuff all the time because, as the situation changes, there's always different levels of opportunity, and you have to change and make sure you change your focus to adjust to those opportunities as they become available. So, but you know what?
back up. I didn't hear the first part of your sentence. You're
Yeah,
talking about person, or
he was just rambling.
Here's the thing. The campgrounds themselves need to let people know that there's some sites available. I mean, I see a couple of campgrounds out there doing some social media marketing.
well, I
But
share
they're
them.
few and far between. There's hundreds of campgrounds and loads of spots available.
We must have, I don't know, thousands of campgrounds in New England, and there's probably only about 10 that have a really good social media platform. And when they do it, like when Normandy Farms is very good at it, saying, "Hey, we had a cancellation for a pop-up rental," I'll just turn around and repost that. Billy McNamara does it up at Loons Haven, that they had a cancellation, and she shows a picture of a site right on Tricky Pond with a beautiful fireplace and everything. But that goes to their group. They've got to get it outside that group. And actually, I would say the state associations like Macoa and Massachusetts, when they see one of their campgrounds do that, they should be posting that and resharing that a lot. Because
Normandy Farms does post a lot on Facebook anyway, and also Instagram. And you know what? They stay pretty much full all the time. But it's those, the smaller campgrounds when people don't know that there's spots available and they give up and then they go west, they go further away from the ocean.
Yep.
Yeah, let me ask you a question. And I'm guilty of not doing this, but I'm not on TikTok. I got enough other things to keep me busy. How, and this is for our audience too, do you use TikTok in relationship to camping and RV trips and what have you? Do you have people, do you guys, at Campers Inn, do you have a good TikTok program? Every once in a while I see some stuff come in.
I don't post that much on TikTok. It's an occasional thing. And I know I probably should do more of it. I need to automate it so it automatically goes over there from these other, branding that I do. But, it's definitely a territory that needs to be explored further. But there's also a lot of junk on TikTok too. And I don't want to get into the details of it, but, it can get kind of cumbersome when you start following TikTok. TikTok tries to own you, so that's why I don't get too deep into it.
Let's go back. John, did you have something you want to say?
I want to bring up this campground thing again. And Tony brings up a very good point that a lot of these, just like the dealerships, New England is a little bit different than the rest of the country in that I would say the vast majority of the campgrounds are family-owned, mom and pop campgrounds. Okay. People that are kind of doing things the same way they did this year that they did 25 years ago. Okay. And they're reluctant because of their age. They're reluctant to, put new money into a reservation system because, quite frankly, nobody in the office. I mean, people get afraid of technology when, in fact, it should be their friend. So, like Tony says, it's hard to make a reservation. Some of these campgrounds, their website says you can't make a reservation online. You have to call us, but we don't answer the phone, so we'll call you back. And I've had major chains where they were at lunch not call me back. So you know what? Do you think Marriott's going to operate that way? Do you think Hilton's going to operate that way?
Nope.
When you go by BUY, you're ready to spend your money, and you may have to call 3 campgrounds before you can get one of them that's going to call you back, or one of them that's going to answer. And this line about, well, we're at lunch from 12 to 2, that doesn't fly anymore. That's not acceptable.
It's almost going to be 24 hours. You got to be able to have it automated.
Donnie's got a point there. Besides the tariffs and everything else, you got the exchange rate that they're talking about.
Yeah, that's a good point.
You're coming into New Hampshire just after Memorial Day. Hopefully the weather will be fine. It may be. Pretty much I'm in Indiana and my internal clock is off. John is correct. Camp fees 6 months, $7,200. Food out of camp, $1,500. Entertainment, $2,000. Electric at camp, $400. I guess that's what he's spending this year.
Okay.
In Florida. So
But if he's living full time in it, right? So
Yeah, well, I don't know if he sold his house.
a couple grand a month.
I'm not sure if he sold his house up in Maine at all, but that's about a $10,000 nut right there.
Yep.
Just saying the other day how Main Street in Holden is one of the gateways to at least 3 campgrounds, gas stations on that route, grocery, etc., all benefiting from
Benefiting,
Friday traffic on their way to the camping ground. That's a good sign.
Oh yeah.
Benefiting. So he corrected it. Okay.
So,
Yeah.
And Tony says, look at some of these reservation systems are antiquated. And look what Larry says. We've had complaints of mom and pop campgrounds that only take a check. Hey, look at my kids don't even have checkbooks anymore. They physically don't write checks. And, everything is electronic. So if you got to mail in a check to get a reservation, you got to go find a stamp. Number one, you got to find an envelope. Then you got to find the stamp. Then you got to send it. And then you got to wait. What are you going to do? You're going to call the next person, or you're going to communicate with the next person electronically, and you're going to reserve just like that.
Yep. Skip that one.
So that's Tony said, they are antiquated. They do hurt themselves. KOA's got, it's at least if you go to KOA, you get the same reservation system nationwide. So you got it's like going to McDonald's. May not be the best, but it certainly is consistent.
And that's
apps like Spot Tonight and Road Trippers. You can, they have good integrated systems that work with different types of programs from these different campgrounds too.
Well, I'm always surprised at how many campground reservation software programs there are, because we do a lot with RV Business, but also Ben Quiggle at Woodall's Campground Magazine. Right. And you look at that magazine, there's probably 10 ads every month
for reservation
systems. And there's one of them, I don't want to name it because I'll probably be wrong, that you don't pay anything except on the reservation. So you get the whole system free, and you got everything on the computer. And then when they make the reservation, then they take a percentage of the reservation. So there's no capital expense up front. There's no reason for people not to do it. But they don't do it. But they don't do it.
Afraid of technology.
An issue.
And there are people that are afraid of technology.
Yeah.
Okay. More campgrounds than I liked.
Where's Larry? Oh, that was Larry's other one. Tony said.
Yeah, go to Tony. This is interesting.
We bought our resort. Well, they bought a resort in a down economy. We put in a modern reservation system, and our sales went up. Most popular time for booking was Tuesday nights after 10 p.m. when they sat down and said, "What are we going to do this weekend?" and make it. I can see that. That's what I used to do. Yeah.
Yep. Going out to dinner on Thursday night and having a chat with the wife and then making a decision. Yeah.
And the spouse says, "Did you make the reservations for this weekend yet?" Nope.
Yeah.
Nope. That is interesting. So, Bernie, what other issues on the sales end of it? How the banks doing in term? And I don't want to know who your bank is. I don't know what the interest rates are. But what are you seeing in terms of the floor planning? But more importantly, how easy is it for consumers to still get credit?
Yeah. So the first question. Thank God I don't have to deal with floor planning or any of the decisions made around that. That's something that Jeff and Ben and people like Larry need to be concerned about. And thank God I don't have that to go to bed with every night, because that's a big nut to crack for sure. But when it comes to financing, I find that the banks have been a little bit kinder and gentler as of late. There's been a little bit of softening and some flexibility, and opening up. Rates have been kind of easing back a little bit, even though the 10-year is all over the place. So I say it's a good opportunity for people to get in there. People are getting rates, and I'm not going to get into details because it's all different for everyone that goes in there for whatever product and everything else. There's so many variables. But I find that people with good credit and have a decent down payment are getting pretty decent rates, almost as good as they were, 4 or 5 years ago. So
what about the sales lot itself? You see, every car dealer in the country, and a few of our members in NERVDA are catching on to, they're pushing out ads about pre-tariff pricing, or we get them on the lot now, they're not going to have tariffs. Is that a legitimate argument on the sales side?
Well, until today, right? So today, Trump gave us 90 days to, give the countries 90 days to start talking and negotiating and all that, which is great news because a lot of dealerships, if they were savvy, were kind of stocking up anyway. In the spring, you want to get your lots kind of full, so when you get busy, you're not running out of the most favorite floor plans. And I was very happy to say that Campers Inn has a pretty good inventory level. And now we have another couple of months window to keep those prices within reason. That means we can still have great, solid purchasing power and going to give us better opportunities to give better deals to our customers.
Yeah,
for at least the next several months. Yeah.
Yeah, and I love the way the market turned today. He, whether you like him or you hate him, but he throws a bomb into the campfire and blows up everything. And then he comes out today with the fire hose and gives him
I'll fix this.
A full shower, and the whole world goes crazy and celebrates. It's
yeah. I mean, we weren't alone in our stock market, difficulties for sure. Like seemed like every major country in the world was suffering together, which is good. So that should give us plenty of ammunition to have good, hearty conversations about how trade is handled, right? So, and I hope I'm not sounding too political because I don't intend to.
We got to read those quick. We got a minute to go.
Oh, wow.
Where are you?
We're at 7:52. Ryan Hadley. Normandy Farms was decently busy yesterday for the first time of the year, this time of the year in colder weather.
Wow, that's good. It's a good sign.
Nice to see that.
Oh, there he is. Okay.
Yeah.
Who in the wild, wild world of sports has checks, even if the government let me pay in property taxes online finally? Yeah, that's a good one. I love that line.
Yeah.
Out of Blazing Saddles. Yeah.
Then to go back to Ryan, a lot of customers don't use checks. And when I tell them credit cards have fees, some of them.
That was Larry, I think. Wasn't that Larry that said that?
No.
Yeah.
After Tony, not before Tony. 754.
Larry had it. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I can't picture some business asking somebody to send a check these days.
Go to Ryan at 754. They don't have same thing. They both said the same thing. So Larry says at 7:55, great conversation tonight. Got to go. Have an early King Air delivery tomorrow. Is he getting one for delivering to the race people?
Yeah, I imagine it is because he sells right to them, all those owners of those cars. Yeah, that's fantastic.
Then he's off to Bristol.
Well, I'll tell you what. If I had a King Air if I had a choice between doing a King Air delivery or listening to Zagami and to Petro and Bernie Colleton, I'd be in the driver's seat rushing down the highway.
Yeah. Well,
he's in Napanee for a King Air. What service? Then off to Bristol, baby. You're right. How's that for service? Larry Peters personally delivers the coach in Napanee.
Larry, Bernie, you see, Bob's like on a 15-second delay. You and I talk about it.
Yeah, he must be watching it live on Facebook because that's talking about a 10-second delay.
Yeah. Okay, we got to go. It's 8:01.
It is 8:01. And Don says campground telephone should now be available. Yeah, that's good luck on that one. All right. Thank you, everybody. Good discussion.
Great show, everyone. Thank you for the comment.
Thanks being everybody.
Have a great night.
We don't have a show without you. You guys are the stars of the show. We appreciate the fact that every Wednesday night for the past 9.5 years, you have been here with us, and we appreciate it. Good night, everyone.
Where's my video? Boom, boom, boom. All right.
This edition of RVing in New England was a presentation of the New England RV Dealers Association. Thanks for watching, and be sure to like us on Facebook, YouTube, and Instagram.